See if you can follow the White House's logic on the Epstein case.
Can you clarify which part of the Epstein hoax is the hoax part?
The president is referring to the fact that Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an asinine suggestion for any Democrat to make. The Democrats had control of this building, the White House, for 4 years, and they didn't do a dang thing when it came to transparency in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and his heinous crimes.
To recap, 1. There's no new credible information in the files that should lead to the arrest or prosecution of anyone else, so therefore they can't be released. 2. Also, Democrats like former FBI Director James Comey, who's actually a Republican, former Presidents Barack Obama and Joe Biden created the files, probably to make Trump look bad. So therefore, they're all part of a hoax and they don't need to be released.
I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden. We went through years of that.
3. The same Democrats who created the files that make Trump look bad and therefore can't be released, quote, didn't do a dang thing with the files when Joe Biden was president, proving that they didn't care about them. 4. Those same files that were created by Democrats to make Trump look bad also showed that there was no new credible information that could lead to the arrest or prosecution of anyone else and therefore shouldn't be released. If you're confused about all of this, I am too, and I know I'm not alone, because the story seems to be changing by the hour. And while many on the American right are scrambling to figure out just what to make of all of this,
the problem with the DOJ decision yesterday to cover up the crimes of Epstein, which they are doing,
I would humbly offer a simple explanation. Who knows what's in the files that the DOJ has as part of its investigation into Epstein? What I do know is that despite rampant obsession with Epstein by the American right for the better part of the last decade, they have conveniently ignored all the ties between Epstein and Trump himself. I've got a piece out on this at Aaron Rupar's Public Notice newsletter, also at my newsletter, American Doom. I'll put a link to those below. I'll just run through a couple pieces of the long and detailed timeline showing the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. First off, it goes back to the 1980s. In 1989, Trump was rumored to be dating a 19-year-old tennis star. At the time, he was 43 years old. Here he is on the cover of Inside Tennis magazine looking very svelte. Around the same time, a man who was then president of Trump's Atlantic City casino remembers him and Epstein coming in with a 19-year-old tennis star very early in the morning and 2 other young women who were, quote, underage.
And Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. 2 buddies. They had 3 women with them. And the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino.
Now that's some new information that's come out just in the last 48 hours. But that puts Trump and Epstein's relationship as definitely being a thing in the late 80s, early 90s. In 1992, of course, Trump and Epstein were filmed by NBC cameras as they ogled girls on a dance floor at Trump's Mar-a-Lago club. This makes sense because around the same time, Epstein was a member of the club. Between 1993 and 1997, Trump flew on Epstein's private jet at least 7 times, according to flight logs that were released by Trump's Justice Department. In the year 2000, Trump and Melania were photographed with Jeffrey Epstein and his alleged madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was supposedly procuring young women for Jeffrey Epstein to have relations with. This is one of many photos of Trump and Epstein together. In 2002, Trump told New York Magazine that Epstein was, quote, a terrific guy, saying something along the lines of, it's even said that Epstein likes beautiful women as much as I do, some of them on the younger side. In 2004, Trump and Epstein were engaged in a bit of a bidding war over a property in Palm Beach. Messages that Trump left for Epstein at his home were found by police who were investigating Epstein for sex crimes in 2005, specifically paying for sex with a 14-year-old girl. By the time Maxwell was charged and facing her own trial in New York, Trump was asked about it during the height of the pandemic.
Maxwell is in prison, and so a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly.
Now, of course, Trump really likes to act like he doesn't know Epstein or barely knows him or never knew him or whatever the case may be.
That was close to straight.
But he's had no problem mentioning Epstein's ties to prominent liberals like Bill Clinton. Here he is during his run for president in 2016.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
One final thought here. Trump is the most transparently transactional person to ever hold the office of president. If there was anything even remotely damaging to any opponent of Trump contained in the files that are now apparently not going to be released, I do not doubt for a second that Trump would release all of those files as soon as humanly possible. The fact that after all his promises to release the files...
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least...
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others.
In all of the conspiratorial madness being pushed about Epstein from his top deputies, like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, after all that, after all the conspiracies that Trump has built his political career on, from birtherism with Barack Obama, supposedly sending someone to Hawaii to find Obama's fake birth certificate, to Hillary Clinton actually losing by more than she did in 2016, the whole stolen election thing of 2020 that led to an attempted insurrection. After all of these conspiracies, we get to the end of this road with Jeffrey Epstein, and now Trump says, forget about it. There's nothing there. So Trump supporters are now faced with not a great decision. They have to choose whether to believe the president and let go of the Epstein conspiracy and accept that there's nothing else there that hasn't already been reported. Or, even worse for them, they may have to consider that Trump is lying to them.